Hello, beautiful creatives. It's Michelle with Inner Journey Studios. And today we are going to have fun with pumpkins, just like we're doing all month long. I'm so excited to be here. Did you catch last week's pumpkin? If not, let me know. Let me know, yes, please, in the comments, and I will drop the link for last week's video for you. It is also on Facebook here. I did it as a live, and you can check that out too. But today, you are in luck because here I am, either live or on replay, depending on when you are seeing me. Let me know in the comments where you're from. I am coming to you live from Central Florida. I am in uh, Claremont, Florida, right near Disney World. Mickey Mouse is my neighbor. Hello, Mickey, hot diggity dog. And we are just loving right now. It is fall time for us. We got a little cool weather this week, which I was so excited about. I'm wearing my pumpkin hat. So life is good. All right. So today we are going to do a bunch of pumpkins in our art journals or on any piece of paper you have. You can do this however you want to do it. I did things like this years ago. I've done leaves, I've done circles. I think that's mainly the two. But my friend Deborah, when we did our live Zoom for my Creative Kaleidoscope membership earlier this week, we were doing a different pumpkin activity, and she reminded me of this one. I'd completely forgotten about it. And she's like, oh, we could do this with pumpkins instead of circles. And I was like, yes, that's brilliant. So I wanted to share it with you today. All you're going to need is whatever piece of paper or surface you want to work on. I'm going to be working in my Arteza art journal. It is a watercolor paper. And then something to put color down with. You can use acrylics. I'm going to be using watercolors, and I'm going to be using my very fancy little kit set because sometimes I don't want to pull out my big, more professional paint set, my watercolors. So I find these are fun just to play with. They give a decent amount of color, and they're perfect for something like what we're doing today, but use whatever you have. You can also use acrylic paint. You can really use anything you want to use on it. I like the watercolor. I like the transparency of them. And for this particular project, it works really well because we're also going to be putting some marks on it. I've got a white gel pen that I'll be using and a black permanent marker. It is a Uniball Vision. If you have watched any of my videos, you probably know I love these. This is like my go-to. And then a paintbrush, and that's it. So let's start creating. Hello, hello. I see some people watching us. Say hi in the comments. I would love to see your beautiful faces here with me today. All right, here we go. So I have got my art journal. This is the one that I'm using currently. I have a goal of filling up 3 of these this year. So I am almost done with my second. I got to get working, y'all. This year is like going fast. We're in the last quarter of it. So I got to get doing some more pages. So let's stop talking and let's start painting so I can fill some of these up. How are you? Hello. Thank you so much for being here. How are y'all doing with your art journaling this year, your art making? I would love to hear more about your journey this year. I know some of us do it daily. Some of us do it once a week. Some of us do it, a couple times a week. Megan, oh my goodness, how are you? Yeah, we have a tornado watch, but here I am live anyway because I'm crazy like that. Where I am, we generally have not gotten them like specifically where I am, but we are still on high alert today for that. We're having some stormy weather and stuff, but that's pretty normal this time of year. How are you doing? How is the weather up where you are? You guys are probably having a beautiful fall time, I bet. Okay, so what we're going to do is just take some orange paint. Listen, you can use whatever color you want. I'm going to use orange for this. I'm just going to be a traditionalist today, but you could use purple, blue, green, red, whatever color you want. I've got a little bit of water on there. I'm just bringing my paintbrush in there. Now, what I'm going to do, this is where it gets fun. Oh, I miss you too. Yeah, I bet you guys have the changing of the leaves and the beautiful fall weather. I'm so jealous. I like the Florida weather down here, but boy, there's nothing quite like fall where you get the leaves changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pumpkin-y shapes, several of them on this page, and then we're going to go through and put details into them, which is a lot of fun. So remember, pumpkins don't have to be, we always think of the, regular pumpkin shape, something like this, roughly. But remember, pumpkins can be any shape, they can be any size, they can be big and long. And don't worry too much about, the variations in colors and that. This is just a really fun way to get your brain kind of coming up with new ideas and playing and making art fun. This is also one that's really great. You can lay these down first, and then you can go through and do them on your own time. Pumpkins can be bumpy. They can be, more all different shapes, all different sizes. So we're just going to lay down a bunch of color here. I'm going to go kind of fast now that you get the idea, and do several different sizes and shapes. You can do some smaller ones. If you need a little bit more water, just get a touch of water. Oh, we lost my phone. No, I am so sorry. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Let me take a look here. All righty. Oh, there I am. All right. I forgot to put it on airplane mode, and it was giving me a notification. So I am so sorry about that. We are back. There we go. It's always fun when you're doing lives. You just never know what's going to happen. All right. I don't know how long it was like that. So hopefully you've been able to see it most of the time. All right. And we got some bumpy ones. Let's do a couple that are nice and big. Play around with your shapes a little. Maybe you've got one that's a little more triangular shape. Think, round and square and triangle. What am I missing? Rectangles. Oh, we should do some short squat ones too, some wide ones. Let's do that next. We'll do a couple wide ones here. Watercolor doesn't have to be scary or intimidating. We're just throwing some down. Remember, I'm just using my kids' palette here. So we're just having a good time. Good morning. Okay, now once we get all these down, that looks like a piece of toast. I must be getting hungry. I'm seeing toast in blobs. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and take just a moment to blow dry this. So let me mute myself. Okay, I still have some wetness going on there, but a lot of it's dry. I'm gonna go ahead and take a piece of paper towel just to get some of this off. I recommend that you make sure yours is dry, but for your sake, we do not literally want to be watching paint dry today. So I wanted to make sure we've got that dry enough that I can take my markers on it. Now I like to give this warning whenever I work with paint and markers. You always want to make sure that everything is dry, so you don't ruin your markers. Wet paint and markers do not go well. Your markers won't work well, first off, and secondly, it will ruin them, especially if you're with acrylic paint. That'll just dry on the tip and you're done. Good morning with Frida. I've got my Frida mug. Okay, so what I like to do then is just go ahead and start playing around with these. Now, the other day in my membership, we were working with faces, so I've got that fresh on my mind. I want to start with this one because I've got an idea for him. He just felt like he should be like a scary one. And all you're going to do is go through your pumpkins. You could do a face of pages and a face of like doodle pumpkins. I'm going to do a couple of each on this page to show you. But you can do yours. You could do all faces. You could do all doodles. You could do all, more serious pumpkins. And what I mean by that is you could do it where you make them all look, actually like pumpkins, not with the faces or the doodles on them. So I'm just taking my marker and playing around in here. Oh, I might be done with this one. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, I'm going to put my little stem on here. You could get fancy and use different colors, but because this is just like a play time for me, I'm just going to stick with the black markers and I might add in some of my white here. Ooh, got some rain coming in. I hear it now. And then we'll go ahead. So there we've got one, if you can see it. Hey, Sandy, how are you doing? It's always so nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. I'm going to put some little eyebrows on this guy too. Then I'm going to come over here and let's go ahead and outline this one. This one reminds me of a kid's book I used to read to my kids when they were really little. I can't remember what it was called now. It was about a square pumpkin. Was it Spookly, Squiggly? I don't know. He was a square pumpkin, and everyone kind of made fun of him because he wasn't the right shape. He was different. And then one day, in a great storm, because of his shape, he was able to save the day by I think he blocked a hole or something so the pumpkins didn't all, you know, go through or whatever. This one's looking a little bit like an apple. But that's the fun of doing these, is just having fun and trying things out. And some you'll have that are winners. You'll be like, yes, that's great. And some you'll look and go, oh, that looks like an apple. Here, this one I'm going to just do some lines on. So anyway, this one just reminds me of what Spookly? This is Spookly. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I think it's a fairly popular kids book, but maybe not. I know one of our local farms did a whole thing on it where you could take the kids out and watch the movie and do activities based on it. So maybe it's just famous to me. Famous to me. Is that possible? Can something be famous to just one of us? Oh, Sandy, thank you. I appreciate it. I would love to see it if you all decide to make some of these yourselves. They're really fun to do. This is a great activity. Sometimes we want to do art, right? We want to sit down and really make something impressive and something we really have to put the time and effort into and really put a lot of energy into, which is great. Those are amazing projects to work on. But sometimes we need to let our brain play a little bit and have fun and explore. And that's what something like this is great for. Don't let the simplicity of this activity fool you. This is like problem solving for your brain. It lets it come up and generate new ideas without the pressure of it having to be anything. So your brain's allowed to just go, hey, let's try this and let's try this. And this can be so amazing for your creativity. Our art can be art we make just for us. It doesn't always have to be stuff that we show on social media or that we're selling or that that has to be a thing. Sometimes we can make art that's just for us. And that is just as valid as, any other kind of art. I think sometimes there's this thought that if you're not selling it or you're not showing it on social media to everybody, that somehow it's less than. And that is just simply not true. So even doing stuff like this can be so good for our artistic skills. You can play around. This is a great way to play around with different ideas and different concepts and just to see what works for you in your art and what doesn't, what you like doing maybe, and maybe what you don't like doing. You can really start to hone your own style by doing activities like this. You start to develop your own mark making symbols because we all have things that have meaning to us or that we like to work with. And doing activities like this can help you out with that. So see, we've got a face, we've got some doodles, And that's what I was saying. You could do a whole page of just faces. You could do a whole page of just doodles. You can bring in a little white if you want. And that can be a lot of fun. I think these are dark enough. We could even do a white one. Let's try it and see. And that's what I mean. It's like, let's try it. Let's see if just white will work. I wasn't thinking it would, but now that I see it on here, it might. Let's see what it does. So I can already see I don't like the white as much because it just doesn't show up as much. So I'm going to go back over with black. But that's okay because some things are going to work with us and some are not. Do a little kawaii pumpkin. He looks a little evil. Not too bad. Yeah, he really does look evil, doesn't he? What can we do? Yeah, it's a little bigger. I must not have gotten this quite. Usually my markers work well. This must not be dry enough. Let's see if we have. Let's see what the Sharpie does today. There we go. So we've got our little kawaii pumpkin, and we'll bring these in here. Oh, so cute. Isn't that fun? Oh, excellent. I hope you have a great day at work. Thank you for popping in real quick to say hi. And I'll be excited to see the pumpkins that you make in your art journal too. So definitely tag me. And I've got my coffee because we're coffee and chatting here. So I really encourage you to go through and start to play around with your pumpkins, because this is a great time. I mean, one, it doesn't have to be anything more than you're just having fun playing. It can be that. It does not have to be anything more than that. That one really looks like an apple. Maybe I need to be doing apples today. This one will do a little bit more like a traditional jack-o'-lantern. All right, so you get the idea on this. We are just going through and having fun with our pumpkins, trying out some new ideas. really just playing and seeing what comes out of our play. And once you start, these are so addicting to do. Like, you will just not want to stop doing them. How cute is he? These are not realistic. That might be why they're looking like apples to me. This is probably definitely not a pumpkin leaf. All right, my friends, there you have it. Just playing around with some pumpkins. I'm not going to do the rest on camera because you get the idea. This gives you some place to start where you can start having fun and experimenting with your own pumpkins, whether you want to do more realistic pumpkins, you want to do silly faces, you want to do maybe all jack-o'-lantern faces, or I don't know, patterns in yours. What else? So many possibilities. You can do different colors. They definitely do not have to be all orange. You can just have fun and make yours be whatever they are. Thank you, Sandy. It's fun, right? They're just fun. They're goofy. So this is a great way to just practice and play in your journal. Um, just kind of release some of your creative juices. You can do, so we did pumpkins today, but you could do a bunch of circles and do different designs in each circles. You could do leaves. Oh, Christmas trees with Christmas coming up. You could do a bunch of triangles, that look kind of like trees, that shape, the length, and play with those for Christmas time. Like, there's just so much you can do with this simple activity. So I hope this inspires you in your art making today. And that if it does, I would love to see what you're making and to see what you do. So please feel free to tag me either at Inner Journey Studios, or you can tag at Michelle Boardman. Either or works great. But I would love to see what you are making today. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not already, please like or subscribe wherever you're watching this from. It will have its own thing. But basically, let's be friends. So whatever you need to do to be friends, let's do that. Like, subscribe, follow, all the things. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and have a lovely, beautiful, happy, happy day. Bye-bye.